Now, let's talk about overcoming your fear. When we talk about fear, it is a fight or flight response. And it is a normal biological reaction to protect yourself when there is a clear, imminent danger. Now, the problem is when you dwell on your fear because you think you are protecting yourself. So think about that. Now, overcoming your fear, whether it is in speaking English or not, or other aspects, rather, of your life, it is a matter of understanding the way you think and how fear works so that you can address it. For example, my husband has this somehow irrational fear of flying. He is not really scared, but he gets anxious when he flies or he rides an airplane. So what he does to overcome that fear is to read articles about flying, watch videos about flying. So he relies on facts about flying, and it makes him feel better about what he's feeling because he knows that these are the facts. A lot of the things that are on his mind are really just irrational fear. So you have to understand why you think that way. You have to understand why you're scared so that you can address it. And the way you do that is to really educate yourself. You have to understand, for example, if you're scared of speaking in English in front of a lot of people, you have to understand why you're feeling that way. So dig deeper into your fears because a lot of them are superficial. They are really not legit fears, but are fears that you're just creating in your head. And then you have to make a strategy for something real so that whatever happens, you know you can handle it and you can move on. Just like what I've said earlier. Like you figure it out by educating yourself. And once you know that these are the facts, you will be better educated. You'll be better able to handle your fear. I think what we're going through now with the coronavirus pandemic is such a timely example because we all fear how this virus will affect our lives. When this blew up, we did not really know what to do. All we knew probably was that we just needed to stay home. But then eventually there were so many studies about coronavirus pandemic that allowed us to educate ourselves that these are the things that we should do to avoid getting the coronavirus. Now remember that fear is not going to protect you. Your common sense and mind clarity will. Now there is what we call situational versus psychological fear. Situational fear is when you develop a response because something is currently happening that puts you in danger. So example, fire. And then that's when you need to save yourself. Right? If there's an actual fire, you develop a response to it, you try to protect yourself because it's already happening in front of you and you know that you are in danger. Psychological fear, on the other hand, is when you develop fear of something, even though there's no concrete or immediate danger at all. So you're just scared to leave your house because you're scared that you might set it on fire, or somebody might set it on fire. And that's something that you should avoid because you won't be able to cope with something that's only in your imagination. Like if you keep on thinking about that instead of actually doing precautions to avoid that, then you're living your life in fear. It is not useful because you're not in that situation. So you cannot do anything. Like you are not in a presence of a fire. So what can you do? How can you protect yourself? It doesn't exist. You're just torturing yourself for something over something that did not happen yet. And then it causes panic because you're attacking yourself for something that is not there. So for example, you are going to have an interview, and of course you're going to speak in English. You might fear that the interviewer will say something bad about you, or will probably like grill you, or will give you difficult questions or things like those. Those are valid feelings, of course. We're not invalidating anybody's feelings because feelings are neither good nor bad. They deserve to be felt. What I'm just telling you here is that you have to have control over those feelings. So you're torturing yourself because you will feel that the interviewer may say something bad about you or may judge your English speaking skills when you're not even there yet. You're not in that situation yet. So you can't do anything about it. Instead of thinking that way, why don't you practice before your interview so that you'll be more prepared? And you know that even though, let's say, your interview will not go well, you know that you will always have a chance for another interview, right? Now, at this point, I want you to know that you can break free. And you have the ability to stop that fear. So the worksheets that are attached here also include fear-setting activity and overcoming your self-doubt. Now, we're almost done with this lesson. I know this has been a long lesson. When talking about fear of speaking in English, ask yourself, is it really fear of speaking the language or fear of something else? Because it might be the two common things. Fear of other people's opinions and judgment, and fear of failure. So based on my research and survey from different people in our community, the comments, the messages that I get, a lot of people would always say, I'm scared about what others would say. I'm scared that they will laugh at me, that they will judge me because I have poor English speaking skills. I'm scared to fail. Now, when you have fear of other people's judgment, you let other people's opinions and judgment affect you. You are essentially saying that you're more confident of their judgment of you than you are of yourself. You don't want to give that power away. So think about it. You are powerful in the sense that you know you have the ability to improve. You know that you have true confidence. Essentially, you're also telling people that you are more confident of what they think about you and that they know you better than you know yourself. But that is not true. Nobody knows you better than you, right? Even your family members, your friends, the closest people may tell you that they know you better, but the truth is you know yourself better than anyone else. So let that fear go and claim your power back. Remember that true confidence is not a fixed trait. It is something that you can strengthen and develop. You know that you can figure it out along the way. And fear of failure, remember that failure is a good thing, and it can be a powerful confidence builder. When you think of it that way, when you think of failure as an opportunity to improve, when you think of failure as feedback and not something bad, then you will not be scared anymore to try speaking in English in front of other people. Or you will not be scared to go out there and speak in English even though you're not perfect at it. Well, no one is, right? And to become confident, you have to become competent. You don't just get confident overnight. So to become competent, you have to be open to failure and learning new things until you figure things out. Now, if you find yourself failing at the same thing, you are probably doing something wrong in the process. So be willing to shift and adjust to see what works and what doesn't. Like what I've mentioned earlier, repetition is the key, but along the way you will need to adjust and improve so that you'll also be able to develop your skills and in turn develop true confidence. Build your competency by doing something every day to improve yourself. It does not have to be for the whole day, but it can be 15 minutes, 30 minutes. You can work around it based on your schedule. Practice and repetition are the key.